Hi there. Today I want to talk about why some Marsh Landing homeowners are quietly thinking of selling. Marsh Landing is an absolutely gorgeous community in 𝗵𝗶 Beach with over 1,100 homes, many of which are quite large. Some homeowners are looking at their pools where no one's swimming anymore and then wandering upstairs to check on the empty bedrooms with old trophies and yearbooks and pausing and thinking. Before we jump into the rest of the video, I'd just like to again introduce myself. I'm Gwen Volen with the Volen Group. My team helps people every week, just like you, who want to move to or sell in Marsh Landing. We'd of course love to help you too. The best way to reach out is by texting or calling 904-822-9255 or booking an appointment online with the link. Finally, stick around because at the end, I'm going to walk through the 3 questions every Marsh Landing empty nester should be asking themselves before they list. These are the exact same ones I ask my own clients before we talk about price. Here's what I'm seeing this year. More Marsh Landing homeowners are exploring sales. I want to be clear about something up front. It's not coming from fear. It's not coming from a market downturn. It's coming from strategy. People are simply looking at their home and their life and their equity. They're asking whether the house still fits the chapter that they're actually in. Is it the right place for me? Do we want to make a change? All of those good questions. There are usually a few specific triggers behind this. I think it helps to name them plainly because most people don't realize how common their own reasons are. Number 1, maintenance fatigue. This is a big one. A large home built for a full house starts to feel like a bit of a part-time job when everyone's moved out. People are tired of managing space they're not living in. The second is club dues. Marsh Landing doesn't necessarily have gigantic club dues or anything. I think when you're looking at the whole picture, dues made a lot of sense when the whole family was using the tennis courts or the community pool and the clubhouse. Now it's feeling a little different, but it's a little quieter. It's just something that will give people pause as they're looking at sort of the big picture of how they're living. And number 3, some of this is just about second homes and deciding whether this is still the primary residence they want to have or whether it makes sense to do something else entirely. And number 4, for a number of longtime owners, this is genuinely about estate planning, thinking ahead clearly instead of leaving a complicated decision for someone else to make down the road. By that, of course, are you just going to stay in the house and let it go and your kids are going to take care of it? Or are you going to come up with a plan to suit the next series in your life? All to say, if any of those things sound familiar, you are very much not alone. It's not just Marsh Landing, of course, it's other areas. I want to talk a little bit about numbers because this is where I think strategy comes in for anyone. In 𝗵𝗶 Beach, we're having a really big moment. I don't think that people necessarily fully understand that because you hear a lot of national news talking about, oh, the market's hard, the market's this, it's down, it's flat. But year to date, the median sales price is up 26% from last year in 𝗵𝗶 Beach. To be clear, this is core 𝗵𝗶 Beach. It's excluding South 𝗵𝗶 because in my opinion, that's its own micro market. It's also including single family homes. It's something important to point out. So for many of these long tenured Marsh Landing owners, the equity they have in their home is probably larger than the number they've been carrying around in their head. This is exciting. It's one's reward for owning a home for a long period of time. There was a big run up, but we are, I think, having very steady growth because of our location. Let's talk about the sales process. So I will say, though a strong market, doesn't necessarily reward every home, it is going to reward those that are positioned correctly. So we have something within the Volen Group that's called the market elevation method, and that's exactly what it's built to do. So it's a little beyond putting a sign in the yard and praying and hoping, plopping the listing in the MLS. We really want to treat every home like a curated asset where we're prepping and sometimes over prepping when needed because we want to position homes that have been around for a long time, waiting for that new owner to come along. We want to position it to garner the most attention. And presenting it, helps it stand out in a market where buyers overall have options. 𝗵𝗶 Beach is pretty tight on inventory. There are a lot of other areas to live besides 𝗵𝗶 Beach. A lot of other areas to live besides Marsh Landing. When you're in a field of choice, of course, you're going to want to present the property as nicely as possible. So also thinking about these kinds of homes, sellers to be looking at precision pricing. Right now, most homes in this market are not closing over list price. So what that means is aspirational pricing, guessing high and hoping a buyer matches that price tends to backfire instead of working in one's favor. Precision pricing, which means pricing based on data, is what actually protects your leverage in a market like this one. I'm a big believer when I have a listing out there that I can provide backup information on why the price is meaningful and why a home should sell at that price. And then I guess just as part of that process, once an offer does come in, knowing how to evaluate it really matters just as much as the price you start with. In this climate, the stronger offer isn't always going to be the highest one on paper. A smart seller needs to know how to look beyond that and look at the whole picture. You know, a big headline number may look great, but there might be nuances to that offer. I also want to say this very clearly. None of this means you need to rush if you have a big home in Marsh Landing or elsewhere. If anything, the smartest version of this decision is a calm one. Thinking about your next chapter, whether that's a smaller home still inside Marsh Landing, a different lifestyle pocket entirely, or something outside of Ponte Vedra Beach altogether, I think it really deserves real time and thought. It shouldn't be a hurried decision made under pressure. So here's what I promised to get you all the way to the end of this video. Before you list, you really need to ask yourself these questions. This is going to go for Marsh Landing or anywhere else. So first, is this home still serving the life you're actually living, or are you maintaining a space for a version of my life, your life, that has changed? Look around. Are you still happy? Like we have our homes. You perhaps have raised a family there. You have all these memories and experiences. Is it still working? Sometimes change is a good thing. Number two, do you understand what your real equity looks like in our market right now? Not the number you assumed 2 or 3 years ago, but what does your equity look like? Do you want to put it to work perhaps somewhere else? Number three, think about what would a calm, well-prepared version of a move actually look like if you gave yourself the time to do it right instead of reacting to a single moment in time. I think if you can answer those three honestly, you'll know far more clearly whether now is the moment to move on from that pretty house on Merganser or Kingfisher. Those are great streets in Marsh Landing. Whether you're already leaning towards a move or simply curious about what your home's worth in today's market, just know that you are so welcome to call or text me or someone on my team. The main number is 904-822-9255. You're usually going to get me on that line. And you can also obviously click on the link in the description and set up an appointment. We can talk about your property and what makes sense for you.